Alright, I know. You guys have all been waiting for me to talk about this. And of course I'm not going to miss an opportunity to talk about drama with the Crown Store and the ESO community, and also miss an opportunity to stoke the flames and get some views. So, hi everyone. I'm a little late to this topic as I've been on holiday for the past couple of weeks and haven't really been playing ESO or working on video stuff. I think a few other content creators have jumped the gun on this topic when it was relatively fresh, as there was a whole lot of commotion and fuss made from the community about it. I'll be honest and admit that I fell into the trap initially, before even understanding the situation. I had some people message me and comment on my videos, so I made a few posts on Twitter about it, and I know I definitely overreacted like a whole lot of other people did as well. This is going to be a two-section video. In the first part, I want to kind of recap what happened with the Endeavors, because you probably all forgot by now, as that's normally what happens with ESO drama. In the second section, I want to talk about the wider issues of people complaining about group content in an MMO, and the weird mentality of the player base. For those of you unaware, there was a forum post made with a screenshot of the Endeavors on the PTS for Update 39, which showed most of the daily Endeavors as complete a named dungeon or trial. People went absolutely apeshit over this, because in the Update 39 patch notes, they stated that they'll be updating the Endeavor system and adding more and changing things. Of course, people assumed the worst, lit their torches, and grabbed their pitchforks and made their way to the forums and Twitter. People were mostly angry because the Endeavors were all group content related, and it seems like from all the commotion, a large portion of the player base does not do group content in an MMO. Don't worry, I will talk about this later. Basically, all the responses are saying that the new ones are hard or it's unfair. Even the original poster said that there wasn't one thing on there that they would do, which I find odd because the screenshot includes one Endeavor for overland content and one for the card game, which is dummy easy. Some people also pointed out that some of the tasks are locked behind DLC, however, this is already a pre-existing thing. For example, there is Dark Brotherhood, Thieves Guild, Greymoor, and Somerset-based Endeavors. But anyways, initially I was annoyed because I assumed they were increasing the Endeavor grind, which means that it will take even longer to earn Endeavors, leading to more people just opting to buy crates instead. I personally was glad to see the specific dungeons added, as I am a 4-man content enjoyer myself. However, I can see why players were upset, and we can't forget that the main point they made with the introduction of the Endeavor system is that it will not be a grind, and you should naturally be earning them while you play. Following the outrage, there was a reply to the post made by the community manager Kevin, clarifying why the Endeavors were like that on the PTS. He stated that it was for testing purposes, and that they will be mixed in with the already existing Endeavors on the live server. I also want to make a point that the Undaunted Event was being tested on the PTS, and that means a lot of Endeavors will be event related. So, as per usual, the community shot first and asked questions later.
Ella cannot believe any max world dot is to us. These changes are horrible. It seems like those wants to make things less fun for folks and make the game impossible to play. Ella even upon this game. Disgusting. Quality of life crisis those players do not let this go live. Many changes lately, email redesign other forums wondering if those is trying to slowly kill the solo game, make it more hardcore. It can say confidently if they do want to change it into a sweaty, must group to do anything type game out.
However, amongst the outrage, there were some valid criticisms brought up, and I will touch on them in a little bit. I, for one, am happy to see that they've added more of a range of Endeavors to the task pool. Personally, I'm not one to check the Endeavors every day or week, as the whole point of Endeavors should be just earning them while you play. Yes, I understand I probably won't get all 3 daily Endeavors every day, but I'm someone who's a bit opposed to the grind, so I don't really care. In saying that though, I do still earn quite a few just naturally, and me and my friends always joke about earning Endeavors when it happens. I feel like a lot of the Endeavors are targeted towards more casual aspects of the game. I'm not someone who crafts, furnishes, or murders people every day. I'm sure the predominant majority of the player base who play the game more casually probably can complete these tasks throughout their normal day of play. There's even almost always a PvP objective for you PvPers out there.
Oh my god, young man, kill yourself!
I think that the increase of variation is great for people who play the game in so many different ways. I'm also loving the addition of the specific dungeon endeavors. Hopefully this will get more people using the dungeon queue, as it already struggles from a lack of players sometimes. As for the other tasks they've added, I think it's great that they're trying to incentivize people to go back to older content or try things that they wouldn't normally do. I think the game does struggle from a lack of reason to go to older content, so maybe the incentive of endeavors can help. However, I can see why people are complaining. When a majority of the endeavors are easy for you and you can complete them through your normal activities you do every day, I can understand that it is scary when they add other tasks. Oh, I mean, trust me, you can bet your asses that I'm not completing a Maw of Lorcage for the daily endeavor because I have PTSD from that place like everyone else. I was right on it, sorry. Oh my god.
Oh, okay, well now you're the dark. Brent, get over here.
Oh no! But I don't think it's fair to get mad that everything doesn't cater to you anymore. For some players, they might be able to get more endeavors completed easier because they do a lot of dungeons or trials, Tales of Tribute, or even PvP, etc. But they don't regularly craft, farm, thief, or whatever. I think everything should be accessible, but sometimes it just can't always be that way 100% of the time, and you can't make everyone happy. Now, onto some criticisms I have of these new additions. Okay, so imagine you're someone who tries to complete all endeavors every single day. I mean, some of you probably don't have to imagine. Anyways, just imagine that you have 5 tasks to choose from, 3 of those being deconstruct items, place some furnishings, and craft a few items. The other 2 are complete Frostfall and complete Dreadsail Reef. Obviously, most people are going to pick the ones that are easy. So let's say they take you 5 minutes tops to complete all 3, and you get 15 endeavors from each easy task. Now imagine that you spend 10 to 15 minutes completing a Frostfall run.
No! What?
Oh.
Honestly, I imagine that's how long it takes for the average player to complete it, but I mean, I don't really know.
I jumped over it!
You should ideally be getting double, if not triple the amount of endeavors for the time spent on it, right? And maybe even more for completing the trial.
Hold on.
This isn't the case, however. Of course, most people probably won't go out of their way to do Frostfall or Dreadsail Reef for endeavors if they only give you the same amount as crafting 5 items, for example. This is where I have an issue with the new endeavors. Obviously, some people might be completing dungeons or trials every day because that's the kind of content they play, so hey, that's a great bonus. But if you're trying to incentivize people to do more time-consuming tasks, then they should be aptly rewarded. It's not an argument that some tasks are harder than others, because let's face it, the average player can complete a normal dungeon or a normal trial. It's not hard. It's an argument on how much time and effort it takes to complete. A trial group is probably harder to find, but if people were being rewarded for doing it, then they would be more likely to form groups. I think a lot of players are extremely lazy, and while Zoss thinks incentivizing doing PvE content will breathe more life into it, I think it will do the opposite. The super casual players will just dig their heels in more and whine, cry, and complain because not everything caters to them anymore. So we looked at that scenario. Now imagine most of the daily endeavors are completing dungeons or trials. Obviously some people will hate this and some people will love this. However, the issue is that now they're increasing the amount of time it takes to get endeavors. This in turn will probably accumulate to people earning endeavors slower over time, meaning that it will take so much longer to earn enough to get a mount or other reward that you want from the crates. I can't really say if this was done intentionally on Zoss's part, and personally I don't think that was their intention. However, an unforeseen consequence is that they can be even more time consuming than before for some people. As someone who doesn't ever pay attention to endeavors, I'm actually pretty happy with this change. But I'm also annoyed that they're making the tasks even more time-consuming if you need to go out of your way to do them. Like, I guess I'm really torn on how I should feel about the new ones. Part of me's happy because it's great to have way more to do, and I'll probably earn them easier since I do a lot of dungeons and trials. However, the part of me that hates the monetization aspect of the game does not like this change. People are right, endeavors are supposed to be simple. Increasing the amount of time it takes to earn them, and possibly limiting the amount people can earn because they can't do the content sucks. Like, I mean, I can understand both sides, I guess. So, I mentioned that I would love things to be accessible for everyone when possible. One big critique of the new endeavors is that a lot of them require DLCs or paid content to complete. People are freaking out and acting like this is such a big, bad, scary new thing, however it isn't. There are already quite a few endeavors that are only completable if you have the DLC. For example, there are endeavors for looting thieves' troves, using the Blade of Woe, crafting jewelry, and excavating antiquities. People are not complaining about these pre-existing ones, and I feel like it's only become an issue now because the content in question is group-related content. People are like, oh, but what about the new players? And well, the new players can still queue up for a normal dungeon just like you or I can. There's even an under level 50 queue. So now you say, oh, but what about the people who don't have ESO Plus or the DLCs? And to that I say, why weren't you complaining about this when they first released endeavors? Or is it only worth bringing up now that a lot of people don't want to have to do group-related content in an MMO? Yeah, it's shit that some of the new endeavors need DLC or paid content to complete. Yes, paywall bad, but no one's gonna go buy a DLC just to get an endeavor done. And if they do, well, then they might have just been better off buying the crates themselves. And yes, some conspiracy theorists out there think ZOS is nerfing the endeavor system just to get us to buy even more crates, but the reality of the matter is a large majority of people can complete all 3 daily endeavors still. It's almost as if these people complaining are forgetting that you have 5 total tasks to choose from, and from what it seems like, only 1 or 2 endeavors are only DLC related. You have 2 options: either stop complaining and do something that you might not want to do for the endeavors, or miss out on them for that day. Like, look, I get it, it's not for everyone. The endeavor system is already fucked as it is, and it's already an incredibly slow grind. So I know why people are even more pissed off that it will take them longer to earn them. It already takes months to earn enough to get a Radiant Apex mount, about 8 months to be exact. And if you want to know how I know that, it's because I made a video about how long it takes to grind out endeavors. I will link that video in the description if you guys want to see the statistics. The system is only in the game so they can get around laws in some countries when it comes to loot boxes, and it's also a Microsoft policy for all their games. Hey, at least they're trying to cater the endeavors to different areas of the player base now. And that is a great transition for what I want to talk about next: the player base and their mentality. Whenever things like this happen and there's huge outrage about something, the community definitely divides itself into its own little factions. You firstly got the vocal majority of casual players, or as I like to call them, ZeniMax's target audience. Then we've got the toxic casuals who latch onto the casual player base, and if you don't know what a toxic casual is, I will link Nephis' video on them below. Then you've got the PvE crowd and the PvP crowd. Each area has their own little subdivisions and niche circles, but for the sake of this video, we'll just split them into 3 categories: casuals, PvEers, and PvPers. This topic has been discussed since the dawn of the game and has always seemed to have remained a big issue over all these years. There is a clash between the Elder Scrolls and MMO aspects. Many people come to the game because they love the Elder Scrolls franchise and they expect ESO to satisfy their cravings while they wait for Elder Scrolls 6 to come out. They expect to play ESO like it's Skyrim. Then they get upset when they realize it's not like that. And then you've got the MMO crowd, who've probably played other MMOs like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy, Guild Wars, etc. These players probably also like the Elder Scrolls franchise too, but there's a huge clash when one of these things caters to one side over the other. From personal experience, I only played ESO because it's an Elder Scrolls game. I'd never played an MMO before, and I will probably not play another MMO after. I played the game like it was a prior Elder Scrolls game, but soon realized that it's not like that. However, instead of complaining and stagnating, I learned and adapted. Now, I honestly prefer the MMO style stuff over the typical Elder Scrolls questing and exploring. I think that a lot of other players went the same path as me, and I think it's great to try out new things. The problem is that ZOS doesn't understand their audience fully and seems to want to manipulate who the game is targeted towards. ESO used to be marketed as an MMO, an Elder Scrolls game, and even a PvP game at release. Over the years, however, it seems like they're trying less and less to promote the MMO and PvP aspects of it. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but whenever they advertise the game or promote it, they only ever show the questing or old school Elder Scrolls aspects of it. A lot of the gameplay is shown in first person, and let me tell you, ESO is not a game you want to be playing in first person. It's very obvious that they want their target audience to be a more casual player who comes to the game because they love Skyrim, and they keep pushing that more and more. The issue lies within the already existing player base who enjoy the MMO aspects of the game, and that is where the players begin to clash. Obviously, this is nothing new, and like I said, this tension and clash has existed since launch. I think ZOS's attempt to target people who will play the game more casually and are more likely to waste money on it for convenience sake makes this all worse. I mean, I've seen so many super casual players admit to me that they would rather spend hundreds on crown crates or crown store items because they don't have the time to grind out the in-game earnables. And let's face it, the ones from the crates look way cooler anyways. They realized long ago that selling the game as an MMO was not profitable to an audience who is so accustomed to playing alone. That's why they market it as basically Skyrim with friends. One thing I've noticed over the years is that the player base has what I like to call the "what about me" mentality. Every group of players has displayed this behavior at some point, and I will admit I'm not perfect and also guilty of having the "what about me" mentality when it comes to PvE stuff. This is probably an issue in every MMO, but for aforementioned reasons, it's pretty bad in the ESO community. So yeah, you get the casuals saying, "what about me?" when they add group-related content or something that they need to do with other players, and then you get the PvE community saying, "what about me?" when they don't get a new dungeon, or when they nerf something, or when the casuals are catered to instead of them. And then you got the PvP community saying, "what about me?" for like the past 5 years, because the only PvP content they've gotten since then was the card game. Actually, no. Honestly, I think the PvP community has every right to complain at this point. My issue with the response from the community regarding the addition of the new group-related endeavors is that it just goes to show how spoiled the casual community really is. A huge majority of content is catered to and completable by a majority of the player base, which I would consider is casual. It really annoys me because the second that they add something for the other two parties, they kick, scream, whine, and complain. Look at the PvP events, look at the Undaunted events, look at the most recent Zenithar event. They run to the forums and make threads and act all entitled, and honestly, they aren't really helping their case. Like, they already have a massive pile of shit over here to do, but yet the other two groups have way less than them. The second that ZOS gives something to the other parties without taking away from theirs, it's like it's the end of the world. I would like to take this opportunity to remind everyone that ESO is an MMO. You know, a massive multiplayer online game with other people that is generally designed to be played with groups, guildmates, or friends. The "what about me" mentality is so bad from the players that ZOS is attracted by trying to sell the game as a solo play MMO. I don't understand the mindset. Fortunately for them, there is a huge amount of content that can be completed by themselves. And I totally understand that some people want to play alone due to lots of different reasons. But getting upset when they add multiplayer-based content into a massive multiplayer game is like going to McDonald's and then getting angry at the poor minimum wage employees when they don't have Subway. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but hey, sometimes the truth hurts. So yes, I understand there's always going to be people with different playstyles existing in this space. It's just a part of how the game is. And yes, I understand that you will never make every single one of them happy. It is great that ZeniMax is trying to cater to people of all playstyles, but can we please just all act like adults for once? And before people call me out in the comments for complaining about people complaining, bonus points if they call me childish. So I just want to wrap this all up before the video gets too long. I really have a bad habit of doing that. Anyways, the TLDR is that I think it's great that they're adding more group activity-based endeavors. However, I think that if they're gonna do that, then you should be rewarded based on the time and effort it takes to complete one. It's shit that now they might be increasing the grind, but again, if you have a problem with one endeavor, just remember there's 4 others to choose from. And when it comes to the community, yeah, we all love complaining. I mean, fuck, you guys are sitting here watching me rant and complain about other people complaining. You can't really make everyone happy, but sometimes that's just the way it do be. I don't think that I talked about anything new or revolutionary in this video, I just wanted to share my thoughts on the situation. If you don't care what I have to say, please let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching everyone. Let me know what you think about the new endeavors that they're adding and if you think they're good or bad. Drop a follow over on my Twitter if you want to hang out with me over there, and of course leave a like if you liked the video and subscribe if you want to see more. As always, links to the sources, socials, and my Ko-Fi are in the description if you want to drop your simp bucks on me. So again, thanks for watching and have a good one.